All right, sorry the first part of my video cut off there. I ran out of space on my phone. So this is just picking up with the most important part, the solution. How do you solve this problem of having such a high employee turnover? Um, excuse me, sorry. Um, Being that college students make up the majority of the employees there, um, upper management needs to anticipate that those hires will more than likely be temporary hires. It's not going to be people that are going to stay with the company. What Loves and Ellensburg didn't do was overhire. They always operated at the bare minimum. So if two, three people to make it through a shift could do it, then they wouldn't get a fourth person to help alleviate some of the stress and pressure off those other employees. So anticipate them to be a temporary hire, or even maybe so extreme as to not hire them at all and just look for people that are looking to start a job and want to move up in the company. Um, so the quarterly or monthly meetings, those already happen with the business reviews, but it doesn't translate to a meeting for other employees, just upper management. And then upper management is the only one is giving input and feedback from as to what's going on. It's not hearing from the ground troops at all. So if there were monthly or bi-monthly meetings for all employees, or even just at the beginning or end of someone's shift, going over and saying, hey, this is what's going on, maybe a printout, a quick summary of how things are going, what to expect, what's coming up, events and stuff like that. That would be super useful. Make people feel like they had more of a connection to Loves. And also make anonymous input easier and encourage it, actually, because that's usually where most of the useful information comes from as to things that upper management might not know about, but the general employee is very aware of and deals with it every day. Also, a great solution, I already kind of mentioned this, is increase the number of employees each shift. It would be easier to complete all the tasks for the shift, less stressful, more productive. You can get more stuff done, and you wouldn't be passing on subpar performance shifts to the next shift coming in, and just make everyone happier. If you're not stressed and working as hard, you're not going to be as overwork, and you might actually look forward to coming in instead of dreading when your shift is. And also diversify the shift duties and times. Like I said, depending on when you started the day would designate whether you were in the deli or you were doing the diesel transactions. So if there was a better combination, and you could request, that would be great if you could request saying, I don't want to work in the deli, I want to switch back and forth, and just diversify the duties a little bit, and so it's not always the same tedious jobs. You get a fresh, even if it's not, even it's still limited, it's still more diversity than you had previously. I also found a great solution when I was doing all this research about exit interviews, asking people when they're leaving, why they're leaving, if there's anything they can improve upon as far as management levels, and just get specific input as to what's wrong. Maybe there's nothing wrong. Maybe they just thought it was time to move on, like was my case. But exit interviews are important. And also, I've read about stay interviews. So it's a little preemptive job security is stay interviews, asking them what they find most satisfying, least satisfying, if they feel like they're being recognized, rewarded, if they're comfortable with their pay. And these might happen every 3 months when they're doing their evaluations. They basically evaluate what you're doing, what your performance is. They never really ask, I know it kind of sounds silly, about like feelings, like how you're feeling about work and that kind of stuff. It's all just numbers and stats and stuff like that. And also the advancement opportunities, if those were more easily accessible. They have a great program for the road to success, to get into upper management, but the getting into it is tough. If they made it more accessible to people and gave them a chance to either prove themselves or decide that maybe it's not for them, that would be great. Even starting people at a higher wage would be more of an incentive for them to stay there instead of bare minimum wage, giving them a little bit more to start off with. And then giving, like as I said earlier, giving a small raise is much cheaper than rehiring and going through the training process again. And then this is my works cited. I know I'm a little bit over time, and I'm sorry, but hope you enjoyed, and have a good weekend.